farts. Old farts. Two old farts. Steve and Dave. Sometimes you find a diamond in the rough. Not this time, though. This is just rough. Two old farts. There is no better waste of time. Two guys. Two old guys. A lot of BS and more drivel than you can shake a stick at. Steve and Dave. God help us.
Well, good afternoon, good morning. It's just one old fart today. I don't know if Steve's where he is. Probably off to the old age pensioners convention somewhere on the planet. But so it's just me, and I'm thrilled to have a guest with me, a gentleman who I know very little about, so I'm intrigued to find out a little bit more about him. We have a connection in respect that he has lived, I think, and worked in the Netherlands, which is where I'm based. Basically, how we do the interviews is we just start asking questions to everybody. Everybody chips it. Well, just you and I will just say our thing. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Travis Reed.
Hello.
So I've always said, yeah, I found you on LinkedIn. I've stalked people. I know I'm terrible. But when I see things like former professional of whatever, but you were a former professional basketball player. What's all that about?
Well, pretty much the funny thing is I played overseas 10 years. I played in Holland for 4 years. And so, but I played in other countries, Estonia, Romania, Ukraine, Germany. So I've been all over, as far as basketball. I retired, like I said, after playing 10 years, and I retired about 10 years ago. So yeah, officially.
Officially, yeah.
Yeah.
And why was that? Well, you just had enough, or your body said no more?
Yeah, pretty much.
Business, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. My son at the time was like 3 years old, so I was like, well, it was getting harder and harder to leave him, to play overseas.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much why I, retired to be around him. I mean, I had 10 great years, especially in Holland. In Holland, I won championship in Groningen.
Yeah.
Well,
you can pronounce it. So you're almost Dutch now if you can say
yeah. Exactly. So I was in Groningen and I was in Den Bosch.
Oh wow.
I was in Groningen for 3 years and Den Bosch 1 year. So
yeah. So as a fellow expat, then I mean, I've lived here 40 odd years, but so how did you get on? How did you find the Dutch?
Pretty much how I got over to Holland was my first year overseas. I was in, I had traveled a lot. I was in, I signed a contract to go to Poland and got released. And then I was in France, and then the coach got fired, and then I got released in there. And then I was in Belgium, and then I got released in Belgium, and I switched agents after that. And the new agent that I had, he was a Dutch agent, and said, like, you can come to Holland and it's not that much money, but you can come here and kind of build your career. Yeah. And that's what I did, essentially. Just came to Holland and started my career and built my career for the first 4 years of it and had a great time.
So you were born in the US. Where exactly were you born?
Los Angeles, California.
So Los Angeles, California, then to Groningen or Den Bosch. What was that? What was that like?
Well, growing up playing basketball in LA, I was one of a lot of players that played. Pretty much, basketball was my love. I was one of best players in the country. Went to UCLA out of high school. Graduated from Long Beach State, and I wanted to continue my professional. I wanted to play basketball, continue to play basketball, and NBA I thought was an option, but pretty much if I got drafted, but it was really late, and I knew I wasn't gonna make the team, so I decided to go overseas and play basketball, and that's how I got to from LA to overseas.
to Groningen. Yeah. So it was a culture shock then for you? I mean,
Yes. Oh, yes. For me, it was always like, I just wanted to make sure I know how to say chicken in whatever country I was in. As long as I could say chicken, this is what I could eat.
Okay, so the test now is, can you remember what chicken is in Dutch?
You know what? I don't remember. That's the problem. It's been so long. I just remember all the cuss words.
Oh yeah. Well, they're the first things you learn.
Yeah, exactly. I just remember the cuss words and all that. I don't remember like the things that I used to say.
Yeah. Yes, but I guess I'm always intrigued. I came here and kind of got stuck, and I've been here for so many years. But it's changed a lot in the years that I've lived in Holland. But it's like I say, when people come, I think they have this sort of strange perception about it of just being people, wearing cloaks and lots of tulips, etc. And but the difference between Groningen and Bos. I mean, the Groningers are a little bit more, shall we say, a little bit more stiff and sturdy, and in Den Bosch, the people from Brabant, they're more like party goers. So,
I would say the boss, it was nice just because it was in the middle, so like we can get anywhere, it was an hour from Rotterdam, an hour from Amsterdam, an hour from Belgium, so
Groningen is like 2.5 hours from anywhere.
Yeah, so Groningen, when I was in Groningen, I didn't really leave Groningen. I stayed there.
Yeah. So, what were your teammates, and also expats or Dutchies or a bit of both?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I had, when I was in Groningen, we had Tom Bolt was our coach, so he was like, obviously probably the best Dutch coach in history of Holland. And so we won, like I said, my first year there, we won the championship. And my last year there, we lost in Game 7 in the finals. So, we won, the Dutch championship. We won the regular season championship. We did a lot of winning.
Probably because you were playing for him, Travis. That's probably what it was.
Well, it also was me and some other players, but I think
because you must have brought a slightly different mentality, because the Dutch sometimes can be very laid back, and it's just like, okay, yeah, right. So we play, so we win, so we lose, and that's just not American, is it? I mean, let's be honest.
Well, no, I think with America, especially when it comes to sports, we pride ourselves on being the best. And, they bring you over for a job, essentially, when you're an athlete, they will bring you over to win. And on the bigger teams and you have a bigger name, like you can't be, if you want to say, mediocre. So that's the reason why I think that, for me anyway, like I saw the business side of basketball overseas, like when I was in Holland and in Groningen, like the first year, the coach must have cut, Coach Bolt must have cut about 20 guys, in 1 year. It felt like, maybe, about 20 guys. So it was a situation where, like we were.
Are they Dutch and expats then?
Yeah, like we had many different players that came in in and out that year, but we ended up winning the championship. So
Yeah,
it
so he was
all,
just trying. He was just trying to find the mix, I think.
right mix to bring together to win the championship.
Yeah. Well, that's the all important thing, winning.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was taught, being the typical Brit, we were always taught that it wasn't winning, it wasn't the winning, it was the taking part, which was important. But of course, we all know that's a lot of crap, and it's only bad. It's just
No,
winning's the only way to do it.
right,
But
right.
so after being a winner, back to the US. I saw bits and pieces on your your podcast. I saw a TV show, a book club, which I was fascinated by. So yeah, tell us a little bit about life after uh, basketball. I mean, was the Netherlands the last place you played professional? Or did you come back in the US and do some stuff?
No, Netherlands wasn't the last place. The last place I ended up playing was in Australia.
Oh
Uh,
wow, there you go.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
well, why not? I mean,
yeah,
obviously.
right, yeah. Australia was the last place I played in.
And that was a culture shock.
Yeah, no, definitely. They have they have a good time,
Yeah.
in Australia. But after I retired, it was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, besides basketball. Basketball was a big part of my life, and so it was extremely hard to figure out what I wanted to do. But
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like everything and then nothing, I would think.
yeah,
Because you're a young guy. I suppose it's a bit like people who've been in the military at an early age, then they come out, and then there's this maybe almost like an emptiness, a void in your life.
yeah, essentially, yes. It was like that of trying to figure out like what I wanted to do in my life. Um, I also decided to, like just figure out, okay, what am I good at? And so like I went to the career field after essentially, and I started working, jobs and to figure out, try to make ends meet
Yeah.
to, before I figured out what I wanted to do. So uh started doing like, got into the career I'm in now. And then what happened was, I wanted to do a podcast, just talking about, my journey and people, because a lot of people was like ask me, how was it overseas? How was it overseas?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a fascinating story. I mean,
Yeah,
how many people get to go first of all on that plane, let
yeah,
alone to get off the other side. You're a professional sportsman. You got to find somewhere to live, somewhere to eat, and just and be expected to be performing at your very best right from the get go.
yeah.
So
And that's basically what it was, there's no excuses, when it comes to, when you play basketball overseas. They just want you to perform. You could be sick, you could be hurt, you could be whatever, they want you to perform. And so
yeah,
for myself, after I retired, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And like I said, all these different things I started doing to kind of substitute for basketball. So the book club, because I like to read, the podcast, because I can talk, and other former athletes, they current athletes and future athletes that said, oh yeah, definitely want to come on the show and tell you the things and tell you my story as well. So I think, for myself, just being able to do all these different things, that's why I decided to, retire. And like I said, just find a different journey of my life.
yeah. Do you think that it's like a blessing and a curse then to be an American athlete? Is there even more? Do they expect even more from you? Like you said, you had to perform. So like you're the foreigner, you're the expat. Come on, come and play. Do what you say on the tin. Is there more expected, do you think, from Americans? Because I mean, yeah, America is very sports orientated, very win orientated, or do you think that's just the same for everybody?
No, of course, it's more expected for Americans. They're paying you the money. They
Okay, so you get a better deal. Is that
yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep,
They
yep.
pay you. They pay. Some teams pay you good money, and you're expected to perform because they're taking the biggest risks on you, essentially,
Yeah,
because you're the one they're flying from. The states here. So yeah, Americans, they're expected to be great. Essentially. That's just an expectation. Expected to be great.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was kind of the impression I got because you said like you had to, in sickness and in health or whatever, you get just get on and play ball, and that's yeah. Like that can absolutely ruin your body. I mean, we one of the guys that we've had quite a lot on some of our shows, and he's been on the channel a few times. A guy called Denzel. He was a professional basketball player. He's just it wrecked him. He just didn't trying to get to the grade above the top grade. Let's put it that way. Just physically wrecked his body. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand that. I think
So what do you got?
you know,
What do you got? Heavy knees now, or
I had surgery on both my shins. I had stress
yeah,
fractures in both of them. So
yeah.
yeah. So trust me, I understand about the surgeries.
So you said something about about are you currently working in the sports field or you say you got your book club and your podcasts and stuff. Is that something is that a full time job for you that, or are you working as well? Or
Working as well.
yeah,
Yeah, those are just part, like things that I do on the side,
yeah.
and then I have a full-time job as well. So
Oh
maybe
wow, you're a busy guy.
yeah, so one day maybe it could be full-time, but as of right now, it's just a part-time thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit busy,
yeah.
a little bit busy.
So you a regular podcast you're doing then? Is that what, like once a week or a couple of times a week, or how would I
Yeah,
see
pretty
that?
much once a week, I have a show, at Travis Street and Athlete's Journey.
Yeah,
Have a show, that comes out once a week, pretty much different guests from all over the world, all over everything, so
so these are athletes, not necessarily basketballers, then, but just people who are on that athlete's journey.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I've interviewed basketball players, football, baseball, uh, golf, tennis.
Yeah,
I'm looking for an ice skater, but
and ice skating.
I've interviewed pretty much almost a lot of the spectrum. So
Yeah, and is there sort of a red line, red line through everything, or red ribbon, I should say, through everything? These people have certain similar traits, or personality wise, or career wise, or
no, definitely,
uh,
definitely. Like when you're an athlete, you're an athlete. Any sport.
oh,
Like obviously
okay.
different. Yeah,
Would you like to define that then? When you're an athlete, you're an athlete. Because I'm not. You can see that. Obviously, I'm a recycled teenager. So my athletic times have passed. But so what's that then? So what's the athlete? What's all that about?
pretty much like what athletes do, and dedication, hard work, determination, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And dedicated to whatever your craft is. And so for me, it was basketball. For others, it was football. For others, it was soccer. For others, it was, whatever. Like you spend time and dedication and your body on this craft.
yeah,
And that's what, being
yeah.
an
Is it
athlete is.
is it a dedication or an addiction or
Maybe a
what's
little bit of
that?
both. Maybe a little bit of both. You have to be, in a way, you have to be definitely dedicated, but sometimes addicted to what you want to be if you want to have success. I think
Yeah.
you
And,
have to
and what
be.
about people around you then? Were you always being pulled from right to left? or you just say, okay, like this is the journey I'm on, and this is the way I'm going. That's it.
Well, for me, I was pretty focused athlete, so I stayed on that. So I didn't get a lot of I got distractions, but I was trying to stay straightforward. And so like, when you're an athlete, you get pulled all different types of ways of people wanting your time or wanting you to do this or wanting you to do that. So you have to kind of make your mind up and say, okay, this is what I'm doing right here.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's helped you further in life then? So what you're basically saying is like you're very good at prioritizing things and prioritize things that are good for you and to help you on your journey. I mean, that's the sort of a skill set that most people in industry would would love to have. The ability to keep focused and cut away the lot of noise that you have around you and just saying, right, this is where we need to get to, and this is the path we're going to take.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I think for the journey, for you to be the best optimal athlete or whatever you can be, you have to be focused, and that's kind of what they teach you. Like when my father taught me growing up. Just like he always used to tell me, keep the main thing the main thing. So if you're an
Okay.
athlete, so say I'm a
And
basketball player.
your parents were supportive then? Because, okay, maybe it's a little bit different in Europe, but I mean, if you can imagine, somebody in Groningen, for instance, who said to his parents, "Oh, I want to be a professional basketball player," they're probably going to think that's probably not a very good idea. But I mean, the education system in the US, because you went through college, I take it you got scholarships where you could carry on with your craft. Yeah, were your parents supportive of that, or did they want you to be a dentist or or a lawyer or whatever they were, whatever parents want you to be, and not not a basketball player?
No, my parents are very supportive. My father was my coach,
Okay,
growing up. So
yeah,
definitely hugely supportive. I think my parents wanted me to do something constructive because where we lived at was a difficult and violent situation where I grew up at. So they wanted
okay.
me to have something.
This was in LA.
Yeah, at the
Yeah,
time, Los
yeah.
Angeles. So they wanted me to get out of the situation by, any means necessary. So they definitely wanted me to pursue sports to keep me in something constructive.
Yeah. Oh wow! Well, congratulations, because it looks like it worked. And yeah. So what you have a son? You said, are you a sports dad? Are you driving him crazy, or
Uh,
does he which just wants to play on a computer all day?
no, my son plays basketball. He's pretty good. I'm teaching him all the ways that I know to be
All
better.
the what all the dark arts of
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All the ways I know that can be better. Essentially, I hope that like I want him to be better than me. So if that's the
yeah,
case, he'll be, not in Europe. He'll be in the NBA. But whatever happens, I just want him to be a good person. So,
yeah,
but I do, I train him and I try to teach him how to lift weights and to, teach him how to, shoot and things like that. So, we've we're me and him are we're aligned on what we want to do, which is move
yeah.
forward with basketball.
So what happens then when he says like, "I'm off"? Thanks, Dad.
Well, I hope like when I drop him off at school, he's focusing on school, which is the number
As
one
well,
thing.
as
Yeah,
well, as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
and then when
So is he in
I
high school now, your son? Is he in high school?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
he's in high
So
school now.
so so what would be his trajectory then? So he would get a scholarship to go to a university to do sports. Is that? I'm not really au fait with how it works in the US.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I think it depends how good he gets, in the
Yeah.
sport. He has an opportunity to, so
Yeah.
we will see. Obviously, he's a ninth grader now, which means he's a freshman.
Yeah.
So he'll finish up this year, and then we'll go on to see how much good basketball he gets.
Yeah. Okay. So there are already people out scouting for these young kids then, looking for them to take them to the universities or to I mean, I know in soccer, for instance, they take kids on, 7 or 8 years old, and they take them right through the academy, and you have like, your education as sort of almost bolted on as an extra,
Mm-hmm.
um, which which is great if you can earn a lot of money, but if you get injured early in your career, in your 20s or whatever, you've dedicated your life to sport and don't really have any education to fall back on. I'm not saying like that they can't read or write. That's not what I'm saying. But they missed out on all the diplomas that maybe that all their friends and around them, well, the peer group will have had. So is that the same sort of system in the US? Are they picking these kids up early or?
Oh, definitely.
Uh,
They're recruiting kids earlier and earlier. With
yeah,
through different circuits, AAU circuit. But for me, I don't. I want my son. I don't necessarily want my son to go through all that. I really want the recruiting process to start kind of like his senior year.
yeah,
I don't need him focusing on all that. Right now, he needs to focus. I just want him to focus on the schoolwork and grades and getting better, and it's getting better as a player. And then all that other stuff will come when it's supposed to come.
yeah, yeah. I suppose if he's good, he'll always be picked up.
Yeah. Well, I tell him all the time, if he's good, then we'll find you. I promise you.
Yeah. No, I can believe that because
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So that's a little bit about your podcast and you're interviewing all these people, and it all seems to be that you're all of you athletes seem to be on this journey. But where does the book club come into it? I don't understand that. What's all that about?
Pretty much what happened was, I
Don't tell me
started.
you got bored living in Groningen and picked up the book.
No, actually, I started reading after I retired. Just wanting just to have a knowledge to learn, and so I started reading books. Uh, I started reading, books constantly, and so I had a goal, so I wanted to read like 100 books in 4 years, and
Okay.
so
And,
right.
and what sort of are we talking about? Are we talking about comic books? We're talking about books about philosophy. Are we talking about novels? I mean, how would you define your 100 books on a list, or is it a complete portfolio of authors and titles? How
No,
would you define that?
pretty much what it was, or what it is actually, is I just all kind of different books. Like I've read, obviously sports dynasties to self-help to just all kind of books that interest me,
Yeah,
and not necessarily philosophy, but different types of philosophies.
yeah, yeah.
And
I was being slightly facetious when I said that, of course, but
yeah, no, of course, but yeah. So I read different types of books, different types of people. I'm always interested in people who were great, at whatever their craft was.
yeah,
So so for
lots of autobiographies.
yeah, so in my profession, I've read, John Wooden, Pyramid of Success, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Becoming Kareem. Also read different books like Brainwashed and, just relationship, just 5 love languages, just a bunch of different, I'm all over. Whatever I
Yeah,
see, I feel like, oh, okay, this interests me. I'll start reading. And so what happened was a friend of mine's husband was like, man, I love the books you recommend, man. And so like me and another friend of mine was like, let's start a book club. And you can go over kind of what you like to do,
yeah,
and what books you like to read. And every month I come up with a different book, a different this, different that, and that's how kind of the book club started. And honestly, the book club helped me because, I was in the process of writing a book, and
Okay. So how's that going?
I'm actually in the finishing editing phase of it. So
Yeah. Well, we have a tradition on TOF that we like to encourage our guests. We had a guest, a guy called Shizat, who does our automotive show, and he said on one of our shows, "Oh, I've got this book, I can't finish it." So we just shouted at him a lot, and now it's finished. He's published it. It's out. He published it, self-published through Amazon, and it's gone really well. So hurry up with your book, because we've got to tick you off as well on our list.
okay.
The second guest. So tell us a little bit about the book, or just the framework, not obviously not the complete storyline, because we wanted to read it. But what's your book going to be about, or is about?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty much just an autobiography story of my life.
Okay.
Story of, like, people always ask me all the time about my overseas, like I just talked about my overseas career,
Yeah.
and like what happened, what's behind the scenes, and like just growing up basketball, and all did a different navigations of life of playing overseas basketball, things like that.
Yeah.
So, and for me, what happens after basketball, and like the story after that, so
Yeah.
that's why, like I wanted to write the book and just tell them different scenarios, different things, in my life. And, so it was, a situation where writing it was, like, it was weird because it was like therapy in a way, just to get all these
Get it
rumblings
out.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let everything out. And, the good and the bad as well. And, it was, super fun. It's still super fun to write. And once it's done, I'll be super excited, done, happy with everything.
Yeah. And of course that'll be book of the month in the Travis Reed book club.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Definitely. Maybe book of the year. I don't know.
Book of the year. Well, yeah. Well, don't forget me when you've written it, because I love to read this story. I'm fascinated. Yeah, like you say, it's like the good and the bad. I mean, people either write just all about the bad, and people are fascinated by that. And then other people just all write about, it's all sunshine and gravy. But of course, that's just not how life is. It's dark, it's bright, it's crying, it's laughter, it's everything. So yeah, and like I'm intrigued, because the thing I've most found out about professional athletes is this void, this emptiness. I mean, you literally just fall off, don't you? It's busy, doing my sport, nothing.
Essentially, yeah.
And that must be incredibly dangerous, shall we say, fearful, anxious period. Or did you just say, who cares? I've got my Travis Reed parachute on. I'm just going to jump off into the next experience in life.
No, it was extremely tough. A lot of athletes, people wonder why athletes have problems after they retire, substance problems or drinking or whatever the case is. Because it's like, I started basketball when I was like 5. So from 5 to the age of 33, that's 28 years. So imagine doing something for 28 years and all of a sudden, no more, not that no more. And you have to figure out what your life is going to be. And for myself, I had a son, and so he was young at the time. And so, like, I had to figure something out. And that's why, like, a lot of athletes struggle, and I was one of them. I struggled to figure out
So Travis, that moment, and how did that moment come to you then? Because like busy, and then stop. So what was that moment? How did that happen? The stop moment. You think, oh crap, it's the end.
Well, I think I remember it was my last year in Australia, and I was looking for another job in another country. And the jobs necessarily, the money wasn't, what I wanted. And so that's kind of what happened. Like it just, the money didn't, the jobs wasn't, the money and the jobs just wasn't what I wanted. I just didn't want to do it no more. And so that's kind of what happened. I just stopped, and, was like, boom, this is it. This is your career. Your career's done. And
stopped and bought a plane ticket back to the US.
Oh no! Like after the season, like I'm trying to get back over to Europe. Where
okay. So you're back in the US.
I'm back in the US.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like okay, I'm gonna go play maybe about 3 or 4 more years and then call it a day.
Yeah.
Nope, that was it. That was essentially it.
And then the phone didn't ring after that either.
No, they rang, but just wasn't for what I wanted. Like it was. After
Travis, would you please come to this very strange country and we'll pay you peanuts?
Yeah, and essentially it was, the money wasn't, I was like, man, I don't want to just continue to do this and struggle and have nothing to show for it but memories. So I have to figure out what it is I really want to do, and that's why I stopped, essentially playing basketball.
That could really be sort of the story, at least on your T-shirt. It says an athlete's journey, but it could be an athlete's journey. Could just be memories, and that's it.
Yeah,
Nothing else,
essentially,
blood,
sweat, and tears that you did.
And then you have to buy your own trainers and your own sports gear, and
that's why I say, like, the athlete's journey is a hard one, because you dedicate your life to a craft, and then sometimes at the end of it, it doesn't help you. Like it helps you in other ways. So what basketball has done, especially when I was playing professional, teach me how to be disciplined and have multiple things to figure out what it is I wanted to do. And that's kind of how, for myself, it was just like trying to figure out like what it is I wanted, who I am besides basketball.
Yeah. And are you there? There's a good journey you're on now.
Well, definitely. My son is with me, and I'm very happy about that. And just want to continue with showing him the journey. And I think that I'm pretty happy. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm happy where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Want to continue.
So you got your book club, you got your podcast. You're on YouTube as well. You doing YouTube shows as well, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I have my show. I have my YouTube. Like my show goes on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's a podcast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Well. So, are you a 9-to-5er now? Is that where you're at? So you.
Never, no, not 9 to 5, but for me, it's like
you found a company that likes Travis. The way. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, definitely. Like the company I'm with, I enjoy. I've been with them for 7 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a good. They give me the freedom in order to do podcasting, all this other stuff, So
to be you, that's important,
and that's the main thing. So depending on how long I stay with the company, if it's another 5 years, 10 years, whatever. But my goal is like to transition into doing the other stuff full time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Travis, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you. We're coming up really to the end of the show, so we just like to ask everybody, don't forget to subscribe and like. We're going to put Travis's details in the description underneath this. This is a 2 classic interview. Just with one Oldfart today, just me. As I said, Stephen's off gallivanting around, probably wreaking havoc in some old age pensioners' resort somewhere on the planet. Thank you so much for your time, Trevor. Stay with us after the credits have run, so we can do a little bit of housekeeping. So don't jump off if you will. And thank you everyone for listening. And we'll speak to you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.